to Real Pride 2013. I'm Patrick McDonald. I write for HollywoodChicago.com.
And my name is Jeffrey Leibham.
We had not done this for 3 years. We did this on the 40th anniversary of Stonewall. And for some reason we have not gotten together since.
So, welcome back, everyone.
And basically, what are we doing in this, in Real Pride?
We are going to select several different types of gay films, where obviously it's Gay Pride Month, so we are featuring several gay films, documentaries, lesbian films. So we try to cover the whole gamut, if you will, so everybody's represented.
Right.
First film will be a 1993 version of And the Band Played On, which was produced by HBO and aired on that same network. It's based on the Randy Schultz book.
Yes, the nonfiction history
correct.
Of the AIDS epidemic in the early days.
Correct.
Okay, what we've got in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York is a number of gay men who've been hit with a variety of opportunistic infections, and really, that's all we know. I've asked Don to join us because for the last 3 years, he's been tracking hepatitis B virus in gay men, and before that worked on the Ebola fever epidemic in Africa.
Now we see the body count over the years, and we're stunned when we see that, you know, we start off with the cases in New York City and the West Coast. A handful, 40, suddenly 40 men have died mysteriously. So of course that's going to raise some alarms. But because it was in the gay community, we see that the United States didn't exactly come on board to give the proper funding to the CDC to try and contain it at that time. So the death toll starts to mount.
You know, I adore doctors, but I must say, if it is an epidemic, this gay plague thing, it's your fault for not stopping it. It's not mine.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. And we need everybody's help. So if you could give me the names and addresses of all your lovers and start with the people on this list, please.
And this is an all-star cast, so what was your favorite performance in it?
My favorite performance, ironically, was a very small role. It was Phil Collins playing the bathhouse owner.
Okay.
He has 2 scenes, but I thought that he was very convincingly playing a heterosexual who was playing gay, and brought some humor actually to his portrayal.
What did you in general think of the film?
I thought it was a very, very well done film. I thought the screenplay was very well done. I think the major plus for this adaptation is that they actually incorporated characters that you cared about. So there was definitely a human connection instead of just getting bombarded with, you know, statistics and lives lost and people infected and research.
Randy Schultz's book was a groundbreaking book. It really opened up the truth about the AIDS epidemic to most of America who did not know.
Correct.
Of course, they had to condense a lot of it because the book was thick, went over all over the world, but it essentially took the same route, whereas when the epidemic first started in 1981, all the way to around when the book ended, which was in the late 80s. Now, the HBO special was able to extend it a bit more because of what had occurred. So this year, Jeffrey, we're going to rate him through pride flags.
All right, okay.
So how many pride flags would you give?
Out of 4 pride flags, yes. I would give And the Band Played On 3 pride flags.
And I will concur with you. I will give that 3 pride flags for And the Band Played On.
And our next film that we are going to discuss, Pat, is a contemporary documentary also dealing with the AIDS epidemic, and this one is entitled How to Survive a Plague, which was produced in 2012, and Oscar nominated for Best Documentary Feature.
Yes. And this is a gripping portrayal of the situation from, interestingly enough, taking place sort of after the circumstances and the band played on.
Get to work! Get to work! Get to work!
It actually opens in 1987, which I believe is the very year that ACT UP actually was founded. And it goes chronologically through 1994. But in 94, they actually had figured out how they had done enough research where they knew that a combination of certain drugs worked together for protease inhibitors, etc.
Right.
So it wasn't a death sentence any longer to be HIV positive.
Plague! We are in the middle of a fucking plague! And I say to you in year 10, the same thing I said to you in 1981 when there were 41 cases. Until we get our acts together, all of us, we are as good as dead.
The voices definitely captured, I think, a lot of the frustration that was going on in that period, and the video that they show, obviously,
stunning
archival video.
Stunning archival video.
Right, was extremely effective. My biggest argument with this film is the fact that it doesn't really know what it wants to be. I felt that it was a very disjointed documentary and also one-dimensional. Unfortunately, I felt that it was much too much about anger. And that's the only element that I got from this documentary was anger, unfortunately. I really wanted to like this a lot more than I actually did.
While at times we may offend you, remember as well that, like you, ACT UP has succeeded in prolonging the lives of thousands of people living with HIV disease.
That's an interesting point of view on it. I didn't look at the film in the same way. I looked at it more from a historic perspective. And to that end, I was stunned on how much ACT UP and their ancillary agencies were able to accomplish.
Correct.
Like the civil rights movement, I think it was an important way for the gay liberation movement, if you want to call it that, to go into the next phase. To say we're not invisible anymore, we're not going to be separated, we are your brothers and sisters, and if you're going to save us, you're going to give us the funding, essentially. So my pride flag rating for How to Survive a Plague is 3.5 flags.
Wow. Well, what I will say is that I think what this documentary effectively did, if you want to see where we are today as far as a gay community, as far as the whole fight for gay marriage, etc., yes, I will give you the fact that it is based on the activism of all of these people, and that's the most important reason to actually see this documentary, because it really did galvanize the entire gay community, and it's where we are today because of all of those lives. That some are still with us, thank God, but a lot of lost souls, unfortunately, are not. I am giving How to Survive a Plague only 2 gay pride flags.
Okay. Next time on Real Pride 2013, we're going to try to lighten up and look at a lesbian-themed film called Amy and Jaguar. And because of the recent Tony Awards and all the awards that the musical Kinky Boots got, we're going to go to the root movie, Kinky Boots. That's next time on Real Pride 2013.